Welcome everyone to the webinar. We're so glad to have you here. Today we're talking about building a business that works so that you don't have to. This session today is organized association with Coach, and we've got two speakers. So just wanted to extend a welcome to them as well. Gaurav Sabharwal and Coach Manish Jain. Gaurav is the CEO and founder at JOP.
Yeah, I think we're losing.
To execute their strategy fast. Okay, great. If you're losing me, you could go ahead.
So I think you were just introducing us, Nishita. Thank you so much for the introduction first, and thanks to all the listeners and all the attendees who are here. I think I'll just give a little brief introduction about myself, and then I'll leave it to Manish to kind of take the conversation ahead. So yes, as Nishita said, I'm one of the co-founders and CEO for JOP. JOP stands for Joy of Performing. I have been an entrepreneur now for a little over 2 decades, been in tech world for 15 years, and this is really my fourth startup in the tech space. I'm extremely excited about the problem that we solve, which is business performance and strategy execution, and how do we get to growth, which I'll talk a little more about in the coming slides. Happy to be here. Manish, over to you, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you, Nishita. And I hope all of you are able to hear me clearly. So if Gaurav, you do a thumbs up, that means I'm audible everywhere. Excellent. So let's start off with some basic hygiene rules about today's session. I'm sure most of you have attended a lot of webinars in the last few months, if not years. So you'd be familiar, but let me just very quickly summarize. One is that we are on broadband. There might be some amount of fluctuation. So please just bear with us. Within a second or two, generally it comes back. India is in a pretty good space where Wi-Fi is concerned. And keep using the chat box for any kind of interactions. If you want to speak up, maybe when I point out your name or something, we will unmute you and you can speak up. Otherwise, feel free to use the chat box. Happy if you want to take any notes out, but my suggestion would be focus more on what we are going to be talking about. All of it should be pretty intuitive. My recommendation is see it on a slightly large screen if you can, a desktop, a laptop, or a tablet. A phone generally does not give you enough of screen bandwidth. Be participative. Again, it goes back to the chat thing that I had requested you to use. And just in the interest of adding more value, in case we go a little bit over the time, I hope that be okay for you. If it's okay, maybe you could just quickly chat and just type out an okay in the chat box for me, so that I have your permission that if you go a few minutes past the 60 minutes that we have requested from you today, will that be okay? Perfect. So I've got some okays. Thank you so much, folks. So, India is opening up. The first thing that I want to do today is to ask you to plan a holiday. How would you go about planning a holiday for yourself? That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you any more hints or clues. A pretty straightforward question. How would you go about planning a holiday? So just put in your comments in the chat box. All of you should be pretty excited in booking a holiday for yourself, planning a holiday for yourself. So how would you go about doing that? I'm taking a pause because I'm expecting some answers to roll in. Doing via any package, travel agent, online portal booking. Very good, Ethan. Anyone else? Okay, Prachi, you're writing reaching a trip planning consultant, like make my trip, ask them for the place. Vivek is saying plan number of days, the budget place. Diksha is saying booking flights and hotel to my favorite destination online. Very good. So there are different kind of answers that are coming, but if I were to change the question and ask this, let's say of a 5 or a 6-year-old child, and say, where do you want to go? I think the answers will be pretty specific, saying I want to go to, let's say, Disneyland, or whichever is the local favorite place. I want to go on this date. I don't care how much it will cost. I don't care how you will take me there. That's what I want. I want to go to a particular place. So generally, when we are planning a holiday, there are a few things that we keep in mind, and we start with the question in blue at around 2 o'clock on the screen. Where do I want to go? Then the question is the answers that you are giving. How will I go there? Why have I chosen this particular destination? When do I want to go there? Who will I go with? What will my budget be? What is it that I'm going to do when I go there? So in other words, there are 5 W's and 1 H when we are planning a holiday. Do you agree with me? Is this how you would also do it? If you would agree with me, just quickly type in agree in the chat box for me, please. Great, perfect. So the next question that I have is, how do you plan for your business? Do you know where you want to take your business? What is the destination for your business? So once you reach there, you will say, I have arrived. How will you plan your business to go there? Why have you chosen a particular destination for your business? Whether it is in terms of turnover, it is in terms of a legacy you want to create, it's in terms of the number of offices, the product or service you're offering, or it could be in terms of the franchisees that you want to build up, the number of people you want working for you. So why have you chosen a particular destination? By when do you want to reach that destination? Who are the people who will help you, whether they are your team members or partners? They could be your funders. Who are the people that you want to work with? What is it that you're going to do on the way and once you reach that particular destination? So these are some of the questions that we are going to be discussing. So one very, very important question, and again, I'm going back to the where, because if we don't know where we want to go, it's like putting on Google Maps, but not giving it a destination, and we start moving along. Do you think we will reach anywhere? And if we reach anywhere, will we know that we have reached there? So you need to give a destination, and that is what the where is. So the first question that we start off when we start a business is, why do we start a business in the first place? So I've given some answers already. The answers that I'm talking about is that you start a business because there are some dreams and goals that you have in your mind. So if you know your dreams and goals very clearly, you know that that is where I want to be. Now, in order to live your dreams and goals, your business should give you some profits, and the business should give you time to use the profits to live your dreams and goals. Because if you are the hardest and longest working employee in your business, even if you're making profits, you will still not have time to use them. So the business is only a revenue generating exercise so that you can live your life. Now, some people do it through a job. Some people do it through business. Business can give you unlimited amounts of money if it is structured right. A job can give you limited amounts of money. And which is why we say that if your dreams are big, business is the way to go. Again, whether it is a product or service, that does not matter. So how many of you agree with dreams, profits, and time? If you agree with me, just type DPT in the chat box. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, I can see a number of DPTs have come in. So the next question that comes is, How many of you are clear about what are your dreams? How much will it cost to go towards your dreams? And how much time will it take for you to earn that kind of money through your business? How much time will it take for you to earn that kind of money so that you can live your dreams? So the first question is, how clear are you about your dreams? If you are 100% clear, write 100. If you're 70% clear, write 70, 50, 20. Just be honest with yourself. You're not being judged. Just try to write what is the clarity about your dreams. Just put a number. Very good. Very good. So I'll tell you how to identify your dreams at the end of the session today, because we have limited time. So what I want to put across to you right now is that the starting point for any activity that we are doing in business should be, what are my dreams? What is the amount of money that I need? How much time will it take me to earn that kind of money? So the discussion today is, we are going to be talking about my life, my business. Notice that I'm not saying my business, my life. Sometimes many of us think that the business itself is my life, but no, my life is my dreams and my business is the one which will fund my dreams. Why do we struggle in business? What can we do to ease the struggle? And how do we learn to achieve the money that is required? And finally, we will end with some next steps for you. So remember what I said, the starting point is having a vision, having the where do I want to be? Once you've defined your vision, you know where you want to be, the next step that comes is activating your goals, or something called as a reticular activating system. So this is a part of the back of your skull, which connects to your vertebra. So this is a part of the nervous system. So when you've identified some goals, this starts acting as a compass for your brain. And the goals keep telling you whether you're moving towards that particular final destination or not. So the reticular activating system also filters out any relevant or irrelevant information, and it allows you to identify opportunities in line with your defined goals. So if I take a simple example that, let us say you want to buy a new vehicle and you've decided that you want to buy, let's say, a red colored, Gaurav, which is a good car that is going along these days. Which car would you recommend?
Why don't we go, dream big? So maybe a Ferrari would be good.
Very good. A red Ferrari. So the moment you talk about and you activate a red Ferrari as your goal, maybe not so much in India, but if you're in the US, you will start noticing in the US, in Dubai, in Singapore, wherever you will have a lot of Ferraris. The moment a red Ferrari comes, it will stand out in the whole queue of cars. So it's a very simple way in which I'm trying to describe how do goals activate your reticular activating system. So if you know where you want to go, you break it down into goals, then the goals start helping you to move towards your destination. And they will also help you. Okay, so that's the next slide actually. Why set goals? So what will goals help you? If you set your goals, what will it help you do? So happy to get your answers. What do you think setting goals will help you do? Please put it in the chat box. This should be pretty straightforward. Why do we set goals? Okay, it will clear the vision and mission. Very good. You will know your target well. Very good. Any more answers? Okay, keeps you motivated and gives you clarity. Very good. Measuring where you want to reach will be very helpful. Excellent. So basically, goals give us direction and focus. So like Yash is saying, it helps us to move in the right direction. You're very right. So it gives you direction, it gives you focus. So if we take a simple example again, like changing our body structure and we want to go to the gym. So we don't just go there and say, I have joined the gym to be healthy, because the definition of healthy is different for different people. So somebody might say, I want more flexibility. Somebody will say, I want to reduce weight from maybe 80 kgs to 70 kgs. Somebody may say, I want to build up more lean muscle, or I want my body mass index to be something. So you get that focus, you get the destination, and as you keep moving along, you get to know whether you're going in the right direction or not, because numbers keep track of where you are. It gives you that sense of movement and momentum, because you can see that you were there a few days, few weeks ago, and now you have come to this particular stage. And lastly, it helps you become more excited, more motivated, because you can see that change is happening. You can see that this movement and momentum is helping you to move finally to your destination. So that is a very big reason of why we set goals. Now, Gaurav is the expert on goal setting. So Gaurav, I'm going to ask you to come in for the next slide.
Sure. So I think while Manish was talking about that, why do we need goals? How do we even make goals effective, right? Because I think we all know that goal setting is important. We've done one way or another at some point of our lives, whether it's our personal or professional life. But how do we make that effective is something that I'm going to talk about. And I think the way I look at it is that you need to have those four simple steps, right? First, you want to make sure that you set high impact goals that inspire you. If you are not inspired, you will drop the ball very soon, and it's not going to take you too far. So that is the first thing you would like to do when you are setting goals, whether they are business goals or personal goals for yourself. Then what are the outcomes, not the output, because we're always taking action and we're always thinking that what will come out of it, right? And sometimes it is the output that you're measuring, and sometimes these are the outcomes. So what are the outcomes that you want to track? Whether you are successful on those goals or not is something you should be clear while you're setting them up. And the better way to do that is when you set milestones, so that there is just not one laggard milestone which happens maybe 6 months and a year down the road, but you have certain simple milestones while you're going through that journey as well. It just keeps you on track. While you're doing your business goals where there are more stakeholders involved, what you want to do is you want to make sure that they are aligned. People working in silos with different goals and not have alignment is the recipe for failure. So that is one of the important steps that you want to take while you're going towards that journey for achieving your goals. And then how do you execute in order for you to move the needle as well? So when I said milestones, we can call them key results, we can call them KPIs, whatever you want to call them, but you want to make sure that you have enough measurement done at the right time for you to see whether you're moving in the right direction or not. You can go ahead, Manish. So the way I look at it is that, there is at JOP, we look at it as the way it's a pyramid of growth. So at the bottom of it, and everybody wants growth. So everybody wants to go where the flag is, and everybody wants to hoist the flag and be there as soon as possible, right? So everybody wants that red Ferrari. But at the same time, how do you go about it is extremely important. Otherwise, it just becomes a dream with you not getting there. So the way we look at it, at the bottom of the pyramid is the strategy or the goal setting, which could be one for the company, one for your own self, the way you look at it. But it's extremely important to have that clarity in your vision. Then the way you want to execute on those goals as well, or that strategy. So you want to make sure that you have a framework, and whatever that framework might be, I mean, we use OKR as a job, but whatever that framework might be, you want to make sure that you have certain structured framework for you to get the help to get there. Once you have that framework and you're taking actions on that framework, you want to make sure that there is a way for you to measure your own performance your team's performance and your business performance, so that you can see where you're at, where is the gap, and how will you fill that gap as you go down that journey. And once you take these three steps, growth is going to bound to come. Now, it can be what you have set out for, or it can be less, or sometimes more. But that is something, again, you look at it, you take a pit stop, you see what the gaps are, and then you go right down to the bottom of the pyramid again for you to take a pit stop and strategize again and go through all the steps one more time. We can go on, Manish. So at the end, I just want to show you all that. How do we look at it at JOP, and the way we go about achieving those goals as well. So JOP, as I said, is joy of performing, and we are specialized in business performance strategy execution. And this, what you see in front of you, is the JOP wheel. So we set up with setting up the direction right, and that we do with the help of the companies that we work with the consultants that we bring on board, like Manish, who help us, and the customers doing that. Once you have that vision or the strategy clearly mentioned at the top, then how do you make sure that you cascade it down to your functions, to your teams, and align them so that all of them are moving in one direction and not in silos, and they move towards to get to that North Star. So a lot of times you kind of tend to lose the momentum there, where the product job actually helps you to execute on those goals and KRs that you've kept as well. So execution is the key. How do we enable those strategic actions which you can take as a user of the product and make sure that you get closer to your goals, is something which is enabled through job. While we do that, you also want to make sure that you give enough and continuous feedback to your people, whether they are your teams or other team members that are working towards that same common goal. But you don't want to just rely on the laggard performance review, which happens once a quarter, 6 months, a year, where you can't go back in time and do anything, right? So that is something which has been inculcated in the product, and you can give out feedback when it matters the most. A lot of this creates a lot of information. So how do you make sure that that information or that data is insightful, and you can get understanding of what is it that you want to take actions on for your next future quarters, is something which the insight section does. With that, I will let Manish to take it forward. But yes, I will do request you that if any of you guys want to have one-on-one consultation and understand how job can help, please reach out to us, send us a text, send us a chat, and one of us will get back to you and kind of help you with that whole direction. Over to you, Manish.
Thank you. So as you must have made out by now, at the bottom of the screen on the right-hand side, you can see job and action coach. So Gaurav is representing job. I'm representing action coach. And we've come together today for a particular purpose, and I'll just get to that. But in the meantime, what exactly is Action Coach? So Action Coach is the world's #1 business coaching firm, almost 30 plus years in business. It is the company which introduced business coaching. It's headquartered out of Las Vegas. We are spread across more than 80 countries. We have a network of more than 1,800 coaches, and we work with over 25,000 businesses each week. And our vision is world abundance through business re-education. So firstly, when you do any kind of engagement with us, you get not just the local flavor, but you get the best practices in the world through Action Coach. And the vision that Brad Sugars, who's the owner of Action Coach, had set out is that if you could help business owners achieve business success, and I'll just talk about what exactly is business success in a moment. So if we could help business owners achieve business success, their companies would grow. In turn, that would mean that they would be able to give more jobs to employees, more salaries, More jobs, more salaries in terms means more consumption that happens in the market, whether it is food or clothes, or it could be material goods, it could be vehicles, it could be medical. So when all of that happens, world abundance starts happening. So what do we really mean by a successful business? So at Action Coach, we define a successful business as a commercial, profitable enterprise that works without you. So commercial, because we are in the business of exchanging services and products for money, we need to be profitable. We are not looking only at the top line. We are also wanting that the business should be profitable. Enterprise, because we work with people. And most importantly, a business should work without you. And I'm going back to one of my previous slides where I said, why do we start a business? It's because we want to live our dreams. We want to make profits, which will fund our dreams. And we need time to use the profits to live our dreams. So the goal is to be working on the business and not in the business. So what does this on and in mean? In is anything that is delegatable, if that is a word. Anything that you could train people and delegate that work to is in the business. On the business are strategic thinking things like what is the direction, the vision of my business? What is the culture of my business? What kind of marketing strategies do I want to adopt? What kind of markets do I want to go to? What kind of partners do I want to tie up with? So all of those are things which you cannot delegate to anybody else. So that is what we call as working on your business. Many of the business owners that I work with, unfortunately, are very involved in the business. So from morning to night, they're doing activities which they could actually train people in their team or hire people or outsource that work, free up that time and use it to work on the business to grow the business to much, much higher levels. So there is a structure, a framework that we follow at Action Coach, and I want to play this 3-minute video. I hope the network will support it at your end as well. So let me play the video and I'll then quickly give a summary at the end of it.
Fancy business. And a bill. A better business behind. Like you want to. So you don't have to. A commercial profitable enterprise that works without you. And then
I hope that was visible. Gaurav, were you able to see the video?
Not really, Manish, and I wasn't sure if it is so we are getting more chat that they were also not able to do that.
No problem. So I thought that might happen. So let me come straight away to a slide which will explain the framework. So this framework has 6 steps, as you can make out. We start with the lowest step, which is called mastery. Now, in mastery, we set 4 different levels for the business. The first one being the vision. Where do I want to take my business to? So that is called as the destination mastery. The second one that I need to work on is my money mastery, which means what is the money that is coming in? What is the money that is going out of my business? Many of us actually know a little bit and vaguely what is the money coming in. Many times we don't know what is going out. We say that our accountant actually knows all of that. But if we are the business owner, we should know what is the monthly income and what are the monthly expenses that are happening. So it takes a little while for many businesses to actually set up their money mastery in place. The third mastery that we work on is called as time mastery, in which we try to identify where is the business owner spending his time. Is it on the business or in the business? So we do an hourly tracking for around a month or so. And that's when the business owner realizes that maybe he thought that he was working on, but actually he's been working in the business for a long time. So we then try to identify what are the tasks which he could train people and delegate off to so that he gets more time to work on the business. Last is what we call as delivery mastery, in which we try to make the product or the service easily accessible to the purchasers, and it should be a repeat experience. So if I take an example like Amazon, why do we all go to Amazon, even though we know many times that some of the stuff that we are buying on Amazon is probably cheaper in the local market, whether it is garments or it is electronics, sometimes it is groceries. Why do we go to Amazon all the time? It's because they have made purchasing an easy experience. If there are any complaints, they're handled very fast. And it, of course, saves time. So how do we bring delivery mastery to our business? Second step is called as niche, which is setting up a USP and a guarantee for our business. This also involves keeping a track of what is the cycle from the inquiry stage till the conversion stage. If I come back to what is a USP and guarantee, and I take this simple example of Domino's, what is Domino's USP and what is a guarantee? So the guarantee, can somebody type out what is the USP and guarantee of Domino's? Let's see if somebody is feeling hungry or not. Okay, deliver in 30 minutes. So that is the USP. What is the guarantee? What is a guarantee? Delivery is the USP. Is guarantee free pizza? So the guarantee is basically the guarantee is money back. That if you do not deliver in 30 minutes, your pizza is free. So notice that the USP and guarantee is not about the best quality pizza, the best taste. They don't even actually guarantee freshness. So Prachi, you've written that, but they don't guarantee freshness. They guarantee time. So anytime we are feeling hungry and we want to, buy something from somebody who can do it very fast, that's when we think of Domino's. If we have a lot of time and we want a more customized, a more boutique pizza, maybe we may not go to Domino's. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to have a niche for our product or service, even though it may not be exactly to do with the product itself. The third step that we move on to is leverage, which is about setting systems. From there, we move towards moving to build a good team, an A-class team, which can do that work for us so that the successful business definition that business should work without you starts becoming true. When we have these first 4 steps, we've got a business model which is now working, and we can look at bringing this all together and start replicating it like a franchising. So that is the synergy model. Last but not the least, maximum money is actually made not from the annual turnover and margins and profits, but it is made when you are either franchising your business out or maybe you're selling your business out. So that is where we say the result stages come in, where you now have sufficient funds to be able to invest in other ideas. You become a venture capitalist. You could also be inviting venture capitalists to fund your ideas. So that last bit is the results part, where you have sufficient money now, you have sufficient time, because this model that has been worked out, this model starts working for you, and you have sufficient money and time to start living your dreams. And that is why on the right side, I have written results is equal to freedom to live your life. So these are the 6 steps to my life, my business. So the question that I have for you now, which step are you at today? So if mastery is step 1, niche is step 2, and so on. So just write the number, or you can write the full word itself. Where are you in your business today? Which step are you at? Okay, I'm waiting for some answers to come in. Which step do you think you are at? If you don't know which step you are at, you can write 0, or you can say I'm confused at the moment and I would require and request some more help. Okay, so there is 1 0. So thank you for being honest, Anamika. Okay, Ethan, thank you for being honest. So there's no judgment here. We know the reason why you have come into this session is because you want to learn how to build a business that works without you. Okay, so okay, Prashant, so you are also a little confused. It's okay. So we'll talk about what we can do to get more clarity in a few minutes. Anybody else who wants to share where are you at the moment? Okay, I understand, Prachi. So you're saying I don't know where you can put yourself in the and at present. Fair enough, I understand. Okay, so the next question should actually be something that you may still have an answer to, even though you don't know where you are today. So the question is, where do you actually want to be in the future? Which step do you want to be at? So either you can type the number of the step or you can type the step name itself. So where do you see yourself in some time? Where do you think you should be in some time? Where do you want to be? Okay, synergy. Okay. Aditya, you're saying 0, is it? You want to stay at 0, is it? Okay, Prachi, you are at results. Ethan, you are also wanting to be at results. Very good. Anybody else who wants to share where you want to be in the future? Okay, so if that's where you want to be, so the question is, what do you need to learn to be able to start moving up the steps? So it'd be great if you can give me some answers that come to you. What do you think you need to learn so that you can start moving up the steps? You know, there's a famous saying which says, what brought you here will not take you there. So you already know quite a bit. But chances are that you recognize and you appreciate that there is something else that you now need to learn so that you can start moving into the direction that you want, which is the results stage or the synergy stage. Okay, so when you are about to learn how to grow your business, can you expand on that a little more, Prachi? What is it that you mean by learn how to grow my business? Okay, so I guess there are some more people coming in from LinkedIn. Great. So, okay, Prashant, you're saying how to convert ideas into plan and plan into actions. Very good. So, okay, so Prachi, you're saying your company is stable, but you want to add another vertical. Very good. But remember that the way you would have probably brought your company to stability and you want to add another vertical, is it taking you to the result stage or not? Or will it add more work for you? So that is the distinction we are trying to make. Okay, great, Diksha. So structure the current business in what way? How would you structure your current business? What is required to structure? So are you talking about the step called leverage, which is to build systems? Is that what you're saying? Or are you saying all the 6 steps you need to go through? Okay, so Prachi, you are answering my question that it will add more work and give you more profits also. That's good. But remember, the goal is to make profits, but reduce the time that we are spending in working, because we want to use our profits to live our life. That's the purpose of doing business. Okay, so Diksha, you're saying delegating what others can do. Very good. That's one of the things you need to learn how to delegate. Anything else that comes to mind? Anything else that you think you need to learn? Okay, now, let me just kind of reflect on why am I asking you this particular question. That if we were to look at other professions like being a doctor or a lawyer or a pilot, an engineer, all of these have some amount of theory. There'll be some amount of practical exposure to apply the theory. and then some amount of internship and an assessment. When you clear that, then you are certified to be certified for that particular profession, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, a pilot. But if we were to look at a business ownership, there is actually no such theory course. There is very little internship that happens. Yes, sometimes there is an on-the-job training, but generally there is no such course available which teaches you how to do business ownership in the market. Now, somebody might say, what about an MBA? So MBA is a master's in business administration. Administration. It is not about ownership of the business. It is not so much about strategic thinking of the business. So MBA people generally become good managers. But remember, managers are the ones who are running the business for you. They are not the business owners. They are not the ones who are setting a direction, setting culture, or setting the kind of market that you want to address. So there's that little difference. And this is one of the reasons why Action Coach has the vision that we do of doing business re-education for world abundance so that businesses become more successful. In other words, what I'm trying to say is that the hardest part of a business is not the actual activity, but it is how do I engage in new learning? And more importantly, what is that learning and how will I go about doing that learning? So I'd love to have some answers of whatever you've given me as answers to the previous question is that what do you need to learn? How will you go about learning that? What are your plans to learn whatever you have said you want to learn? Now, whether it is to do with delegation or it is to do with structuring the business, it is to convert ideas into plans and plans to actions. So how will you learn? What is your strategy for learning? Okay, any answers? If you don't have an answer, maybe you could just say, I'm still trying to understand. I'm still trying to struggle. I'm still unclear about how will I learn. Some of you might say, well, I can go through some YouTube videos. I can join some courses on Unacademy, on Coursera, etc. Or some of you might say, I will learn from maybe my elder brother or my chacha ji or something. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, Namika, business coaching actually is exactly how you can learn. So you've kind of hit the nail right on the head. But in the meantime, some of us could also have some other ways by which we can learn. So great, Diksha. Using consultants is one method. But one problem with using consultants is that consultants will share their knowledge with you and they will expect you to implement what they know. Whereas what you want to do in your business is the way you are running business. You want that particular way to succeed, not the consultant's way. And no matter how good the consultants would be, many times there are limitations to the amount of knowledge and experience that they have. And consultants come for a short time, usually 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month, and they will give you a lot of stuff and then expect you to implement it by yourself. So many times, the way the consultant has suggested, some ideas are useful, but many business owners struggle to implement what consultants have said. Yeah, books on success stories can also be helpful. So that is one method by which you can get to know what other people have done. So these are all good answers. And I like the answers that you have given. But I feel that if you want to move from whatever step you are in the 6-step process and you want to reach the results stage, do you think this much is sufficient, whatever you people have shared? If you think it is sufficient, you can say sufficient. If you think it is not sufficient, just type not, N-O-T. So whatever you are saying, is that sufficient? If yes, you say sufficient. If you think no, it is not sufficient, then you can just type N-O-T. Okay, so Ethan, you're saying no, fair enough. Uh, Anybody else who feels that yes, this much, whatever we have discussed so far, it is sufficient for you to move to the last stage, which is results? Or do you think, no, that is not sufficient? There is something else which I need to know. So all of this comes under how will I learn? Yeah, Diksha, I completely agree with you. We learn every day by moving ahead with small plans. The thing is, where are we moving? What are we moving towards? So do we have that vision? Do we have that final dream and goal available for us? When we have the dream, then we make those small goals. Okay, so if you have that big dream, very good. Then I think you could be on the right track. Anybody else who wants to share whether yes, you have sufficient answers today, or you think you need more assistance? Okay, so Prashant, you're saying you need some kind of an invigilator to see from the top. Can you explain that? What does that mean? I'm not very clear about what you mean by this. Or do you mean that you need a set of impartial eyes, somebody who's not involved in the business, but who is an external eye who can, take an impartial and impassionate view of the business and tell you what you are doing, whether it is right or not? Okay, great. So I understand that. Perfect. Perfect. So, the reason why today Job and Action Coach have come along and why we are doing this particular session is because we understood that in the market, there is a requirement for people to understand what are their dreams, what are their goals, how do we translate the dreams into goals, how do we execute those goals in a systematic manner, how do we put numbers to the goals, how do we ensure that we are tracking the goals, and like Diksha rightly said, that if we have put small goals and if we are able to track and if we know we are moving in the right direction, there is a very good chance that we are going to hit our vision. So that is the reason that Job has a very, very powerful platform that Gaurav also spoke about. And Action Coach has this 6 steps framework, which will help you to identify where is it that you want to go, how will you reach there, what all things do you need to set up in your business so that you reach that last stage of results. Now we understand that in a 60-minute kind of a session, it may not be sufficient for people to understand everything that we are trying to put across. So what I would like to do is to first throw it open for questions. If anyone has any kind of question, you could just post it in the chat box. And Gaurav and I will try to give it our best shot and give you that answer. And then I'll also tell you what is it that we could do to help you take the next step. So any questions, anybody? Okay, waiting for some questions to come up. Sometimes when nothing is happening, I'm not sure whether my net has frozen or there are no questions and everything is crystal clear.
Yeah, I think Manish, you were too good and people have no questions. They have complete clarity.
Wow. Okay, so you know what I'm going to offer next. Oh, so Diksha says this shows we are still confused. Not perfect clarity, Gaurav, but still confused. Okay, and okay, so Prashant, that's exactly what we are bringing now. So as part of the taking action, and see, the name of my company is Action Coach. It is not, I will think about it, coach, maybe next time, coach, do it later, coach. It is Action Coach. So how do we take action? Because no matter what our vision, what our goals, if we don't take any action on them, nothing will actually change and nothing will move. So what we are offering is that you could book a separate free one-to-one consultation session with us, and there's a scan code which is given on top. And maybe Nishita, you could put a link also in the chat box if people are not able to scan that. So in this one-to-one consultation session, what we are going to do with you is firstly help you to identify what is actually your perfect life, in which we will talk about what are your dreams, what is the money involved, what is the time that is required to build that kind of money to live the dreams that you want. So it's a very powerful process which goes into your subconscious and helps you to identify what is your perfect life. Then we will talk about how do we go about setting goals so that this particular adage that I had spoken about, my life, my business, how do we bring those 6 steps together? And what is the time period that could be required to move to those 6 steps? And then we'll also talk about how do we implement a technology platform which will help us to track our goals. So in other words, number one and number two, how do we bring it together using technology and seeing how is it that not only do we track our own goals, but how do we make our team track its goals and how do we monitor whether they are doing what they're supposed to do. So we set proper KPIs for them and we start tracking whether they are moving towards it or not. And of course, there will be corrective action that can be taken in between. So again, a simple example is like Google Maps. So if we are going from one place to another and if the road is blocked, Google will suggest an alternative path, provided you are following the map, provided you are looking at the map. And that is what this technology platform will help us to do, that we will keep taking a look at what is happening. And if it is going in the right direction, excellent. If it's not going, what is the corrective action that is required? So this is what that free session is going to be all about, where we can talk more of your perfect life, my business, and how do we track goals. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. And Gaurav, if you want to add anything else, I guess this QR code again is the same thing that you saw on the previous slide on the top right corner. So you can scan even this one, or Nishita has already put a link, whichever one works for you. Please go ahead and do that. So Gaurav, anything you want to say at the end?
Sure. I think Prashant, what also meant that how can job with action coach help in my business? Prashant and anybody else who wants to understand that how do you make this whole philosophy, or what we have spoken about tangible through the use of technology in your business, we can do that through job. So if you would like to understand how to set the OKRs or objective key results, how to go about taking actions on them, align your businesses, align your team, and with the and one of us would be happy to take you through it and make you help, make how we can help. Yeah? So I think that is something Manish wanted to kind of add right now. Thank you.
Great, great. Thank you so much. And I had requested everybody that in case we go excess time, you'd given me permission, but I think we'll be able to close a few minutes early, uh, primarily because there were no questions that came. And like somebody said that maybe we still need more clarity. And since we have limited time today, my request is use this QR code, use the link, and please go ahead and book your slot. And happy to meet up with you once again. So thank you so much for spending your time. I hope you were able to get something of value. And just at the end, there'd be, I'd be grateful if you could write down one thing that you are taking away from today's session. What is it that you understood, or what is that mentor's moment that you said, oh yeah, this is something that really struck me today? So what is that one thing that maybe you could put in the chat box for me, which will help me to understand that this particular part in the presentation really struck you? Yes, certainly, Prashant. You can do that. Why not? Okay, so Diksha, the 6 steps from mastery to results. Very good. Excellent. Anything else that stuck you? Struck you? Okay, targets to be set and achieved. Very good. Anything else from anyone? So Prashant, Namika, Diksha, Prachi, thank you all so much for your comments. Yes, targets to be set and achieved and to be measured. Yes, you're right. Absolutely right. So thank you all of you for joining in. Keep safe and have a happy new year. Take care. Goodbye.